I wonder what grade you would give
A+.
your economy.
What grade would you give the economy right now?
Oh, I would give it a D.
A+.
Yeah, A++++++.
I think he's very out of touch.
We have record high levels of young people that are unemployed.
And I have not been able to find work since I left the military in 2022.
Being paid very low wages and can't afford life.
Katia's rent for this 300 square foot apartment is going to jump from $670 a month to just over $1,000. She says her paycheck won't cover it.
I would consider living in my car.
46% of Americans say the cost of living in the U.S. is the worst they can ever remember.
37% of people who voted for Trump in 2024 share that view.
I had to find a pantry because, food is coming up so expensive, and I got a family to take care of, man. There's too many bills coming in.
Americans feel like prices are rising in each and every single part of their lives.
Medication costs are going up as well.
We're getting prices down for this country.
The kids caught the flu and we had to share medication because the Tamiflu was so expensive, I couldn't afford it.
The word affordability is a con job.
3/4 of Americans would scoff at that. And a majority of those polled worry it's only going to get worse.
This is my first time visiting a food bank in my entire life.
And was laid off earlier this year. Without the federal help, she says her premiums would jump to over $700 a month.
It would be more than my mortgage payment.
That takes multiple incomes to survive in this economy. I just left work and now I am going to go door dashing.
I think that people across this country are really hungry for public servants who are laser focused on making life affordable for everyone.
When are we going to get back to the days when somebody can support themselves and live comfortably with just one income? I have a full-time job that years ago I could have raised a family on what I make. And it's like now I have to do side hustles, to supplement my income because it's gotten so fucking expensive to live.
It's crazy you have to work like 75% of your life, like donate, give up 75% of your time pretty much just to literally survive, just to live. Not to live comfortably, not to live well, just to live.
And you're having people struggling over money, struggling over food, struggling over finding a place to live. What do you think you're going to expect from America? You're going to get more violence. You're going to get more people attacking other people. You're going to get more of the looting in different stores.
And then it's like I woke up all of a sudden and my insurance has doubled, food has fucking tripled, gas is so expensive, electric bill over doubled, my fucking rent went up. I can't be the only one that's drowning.
Everybody is going through this bullshit. Everyone. Can't go to Canada. Can't go to the UK. Everyone is dealing with just not being able to sustain life.
I've never had so little money in my entire life. All of my money goes towards my bills and food for me to eat. And half the time I have to choose between filling my car with gas or eating.
Wish that I could just have a job and do my job and go to work every day and it would just pay for life. It would pay for a roof over my head, it would pay for food on my table, it would pay for medical bills, it would pay enough for me to save money so I could retire one day, basic things.
I am 36 years old and I have nothing to show for 20 plus years of work.
$70,000 a year, not enough? Is a bachelor's degree not enough? Is 2 jobs not enough? And the only thing we hear is, well, stop Starbucks and stop your brunches and your 3-day vacations. If you get up and take care of your house and take care of your friends and your family and your body and work 50 hours a week plus commuting, don't you think that person deserves a night out or a Sunday?
At what point is it literally just too expensive to live? When do because we keep on talking about it, we keep on talking about inflation, we keep on talking about salaries not meeting it, and we keep on talking about the minimum wage, and we keep on talking about all this stuff, but at what point does that bubble burst? It literally is just too expensive to be alive, even if you're working a full-time job.
If you've been feeling stressed, angry, unmotivated, or like you're doing everything right and still falling behind, this video is for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to Mindful Texts. Today we are reacting to TikTok clips of Americans still talking about the cost of living in 2025. And a lot of people are calling it crash out. Not because folks are weak, but because the math just isn't mathing anymore. Rent is up, groceries are up, insurance is up, childcare is insane, and wages, they are not enough. So before we get into it, please remember to hit that like button. And if you see yourself in these videos, just know that you are not alone.
This student had a meltdown over crazy rent prices.
No, because you, America, for making me pay, or for making me work 4 jobs while I'm in college in rural Tennessee, and I can barely pay my own rent, and I'm taking 19 credit hours on top of those 4 jobs, and I still can't graduate on time, and I still can't graduate early, even though I'm taking 21 credit hours next semester. It's not fair. It's not fair anymore. It's never been fair, not in my lifetime. And will it ever be fair? No, because I'm a woman in America. I just want to live in peace, America. And I will one day. Probably something else.
Half of all renters in the US spend more than 30% of their income on rent. Rising rent prices are pushing record number of Americans towards the threat of homelessness, so the system definitely doesn't work and something needs to be changed.
What the fuck are we doing on this earth, man? Every day, most of us wake up and go to a job that we really don't fucking like, but we can't really quit because we gotta get the money to pay the bills that they say it's important to pay. What the fuck is the point of this life, man? We go to grocery stores and buy food that God gave us for free. Why the fuck did we pay for lights? Well, that's just the way it is. Fuck you. I'm tired of all this "that's just the way it is" bullshit. This whole fucking system is garbage. America ain't nothing but a big ass fucking plantation, man. A big ass fucking plantation. What the fuck are we doing here? There are days I don't want to be on this earth. And I'm not saying I want to unalive myself and nothing like that. But I'm tired, man. It's like, what the fuck is the point of any of this? To work till we 60, 70 years old? Most of us ain't gonna fucking live to see 50. But we gotta work to maybe retire. Man, fuck you and all that bullshit, man. I don't give a fuck about who president, left, right, and all this dumbass shit. I'm tired of this whole fucking game, man. It's a big ass game. It's a big ass charade. America is a fucking plantation. I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say about it, man. This shit is exhausting. Like, I don't even want to look for another job. I'm gonna walk in there, they gonna ask me, why do you even want this job? Bitch, because I need some fucking money to pay the bills that they tell me is important to pay. The fuck out of here, man.
Just this one. Thank you. How much?
136.
136. Can I ask why you're working at this age?
Because I can't afford not to. Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
I'm 75.
75?
Yeah. I'm evicted.
Sorry?
I have to get out of my apartment.
You're getting evicted?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how much is your rent?
They said they didn't get the check, and he's charging me $1,100 or something, you know. It's a mess.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Do you have a partner or like a husband or?
No, he's deceased.
Oh my god, when
he died at 45 years old of drugs.
Oh my gosh, you've had such a hard life.
I'm here.
And you're about to get evicted.
Yeah.
I want to give these to you.
Oh no.
Yes.
I just bought flowers for my boss.
Really?
Today, yeah.
Wow, so those are for you.
Thank you.
I want to send you a lot of love, you know, the situation you're going through.
I just go day by day. It's up to him if I get up, you know.
So I want to put some money towards your rent.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. There's a few $100s for you. I'm gonna open a fundraiser to help you retire and to not get evicted.
No, I never had nothing like that before. Because my family don't help me. They don't have nothing to do with me. My kids. friend of mine told me my customers are my people. I have 4 kids and they have nothing to do with me. I've been working for almost 2 years straight. I haven't missed a day. I missed 1 day.
I'm sad. I promise. I'll give you a hug.
Yeah.
Of course.
I haven't done that in a long time.
Sorry?
I haven't hugged nobody in a long time. Okay.
This is what our shitty ass healthcare has come to, where my patients need medicine and supplies and their insurance won't cover it, and here I am spending my own money because my patient needs it, and he doesn't have any money and he can't work. And the insurance won't even cover what he needs. And I'm sad and I'm sick and tired of it.
How are we supposed to buy a house when my rent is going up another $195 a month? It has gone up $720 in 4 years for the same place that I live in. $8,640 a year more for the same place I lived in 4 years ago. I'm sorry, property taxes are not going up that much that landlords are charging that much more. We have to stop blaming the economy, the government, the president. It is greedy people taking more profits in. When people tell you, just move somewhere else, why would I move to another state that's cheaper? Why should I have to uproot my family, lose my career, just to afford to live somewhere? You're implying people who live in where I live now don't deserve a fair shot at cost of living. And places with cheaper rent pay lower salaries. That's how this whole thing works for the most part. And my girlfriend's a teacher. Like, if she moves to a state with a cheaper cost of living, she might not even have a pension or her benefits anymore. Instead of telling the middle class to keep, looking somewhere cheaper, why don't you all align together and get people out of control that are doing this to us? You are always closer to being homeless than you are to being rich. Everyone just assumes one day they're going to get rich. And that's why they don't stand up for people just like them in the struggle right now. If not for the raise I got 4 years ago, I would be totally screwed. I don't even want a handout or help. I just want things to not be so crazy expensive every year. Go buy pizza from where I work. Go buy my merchandise. I don't know. Not a handout, just advertising.
Just stand behind you and talk about something. Yeah. Okay. Here in New York City, one of the most expensive places in America to live, this man right here has made his home on the streets. He said he could no longer afford to pay rent. Here, the average rent is around $4,500 a month, while the minimum wage is $16 an hour. So this man says, I no longer can afford to pay rent. He's literally moved all his belongings outside. He's out here sitting on a chair, relaxing. Has his seat, he has his blankets, his cushions from his couch, pallets, and he says he's living a great life now. He says, I have no overhead. I've never felt more free as he's living here on the streets in New York City. It's so expensive to live here. People are literally going homeless on the streets.
How do I make my therapist understand that being an American citizen, living in this country, is what makes me depressed on a daily basis? Our wages and our costs of living are absolutely fucking ridiculous. Oh, and the government just hates women and the poor and equality, apparently. The stuff we are first or top in is shit we shouldn't be proud of, like obesity or how unhealthy we are or the amount of mentally ill people we have. It's ridiculous. And we're pretty low on the shit that should be important to people, like healthcare and education, all of that. Other countries literally make fun of us and are baffled by the shit that we have to deal with and the way that we are treated. Our milk is banned in other countries. Other countries don't have to buy bulletproof inserts to send their children to school. Other countries aren't always afraid of their cops because they aren't like American cops. There's so much I have to say on this topic and not enough time in the fucking day. And I know that we may not be the worst country in the world, but we sure as hell should not be calling ourselves the best.
People are frustrated with housing and the price of homes. People are frustrated with certain food items. But there are a number of things that President Trump has already been incredibly successful doing. So when he says this affordability issue is a hoax, he's right. He's basically talking about how the Democrats have taken this word affordability and used it as their calling card for the 2026 elections. They think that these Democrat wins that we just saw in Miami, in New York City, in other places like New Jersey. We shouldn't be surprised that the Democrats won those races. These are all blue states and cities, so it's no surprise there. What is a surprise is that after all of these years, the Republicans keep getting rolled over by the Democrats' messaging. I got to tell you, I don't think that people really feel as bad as the Democrats are talking about. The economy is doing well. There's $18 trillion of new investment that have come into this country.
I gotta say, if this is the move by Republicans heading into midterms, do not change a single thing. I say this as somebody who learned the hard way that insisting back in 2024 that Joe Biden was presiding over a strong economy was not a viable strategy. Please, repeat this every single day from now until November 2026. Tell Americans who are clearly struggling with surging prices on food, on electricity, housing, electronics, rent, that everything is actually better than they think it is and that their pain is just make-believe.
There's no one talking about how serious the cost of living actually is. So we pay like a really cheap amount of rent compared to like all the other rent I see, and we're a family of 6. We pay $9.50 rent. That's cheap. We're in Missouri. It's like not some nice new place or anything. It was actually built in 1890. My husband is working 3 jobs right now. We buy absolutely nothing that we don't need. And we actually go without a lot of things that we actually do need. I feel like if you're able to do anything that's not just surviving, then you got it good. I feel so sad that I didn't appreciate the times where we were able to actually have fun at this point. So much has changed in the past few years. Like, what? I just really, really want to know, how is everyone surviving? Is everyone working like 24/7? Because that's what my husband does, and I'm just home with my little kids all the time. It's kind of like depressing that we're never together as a family, so I don't know. I hope one day we can be, but it sucks.
To afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, and dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations, and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough.
I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live. 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a 2-bedroom apartment and an extra $300 a month. Like, it doesn't cover my phone, internet, food, you know? So not only do I not have any extra money, but just working makes me so exhausted that I don't have time either. Like, I get off work at 5:30, come home, I'm just so tired. Anything that I need to do outside of work, I then just push off to like the weekend, and I'm like, I'm just too tired to do this after work. I'll wait until Saturday. So then I end up with so much to do on the weekend that ends up having to be split into 2 days. So I have to do stuff on both Saturday and Sunday. So then I don't get a day off. I don't get a day to relax. I don't get to decompress. So it is really like working 7 days a week.
How are we supposed to buy a house when my rent is going up another $195 a month? It has gone up $720 in 4 years for the same place that I live in. $8,640 a year more for the same place I lived in 4 years ago. I'm sorry, property taxes are not going up that much that landlords are charging that much more. We have to stop blaming the economy, the government, the president. It is greedy people taking more profits in. When people tell you, just move somewhere else, why would I move to another state that's cheaper? Why should I have to uproot my family, lose my career, just to afford to live somewhere? You're implying people who live in where I live now don't deserve a fair shot at cost of living. And places with cheaper rent pay lower salaries. That's how this whole thing works for the most part. And my girlfriend's a teacher. Like, if she moves to a state with a cheaper cost of living, she might not even have a pension or her benefits anymore. Instead of telling the middle class to keep, like, looking somewhere cheaper, why don't you all align together and get people out of control that are doing this to us? You are always closer to being homeless than you are to being rich. Like, everyone just assumes one day they're going to get rich. And that's why they don't stand up for people just like them in the struggle right now. If not for the raise I got 4 years ago, I would be totally screwed. I don't even want to hand out or help. I just want things to not be so crazy expensive every year. Like, go buy pizza from where I work. Go buy my merchandise. I don't know. Not a handout, just advertising.
That was a lot because people are really showing the pain. The cost of living is still so high to the extent that people are crashing out. No matter the age, everyone is completely affected. So people are not just broke, maybe because they are irresponsible. They are broke because life costs too much now. Back in the day, one paycheck could cover rent and groceries. Like we have had some explaining, saying that back in the day, one income would take care of the whole family. But right now, rent alone takes 50% or even 60% of someone's income. And once rent takes that much, everything else becomes a crisis because there are so many other expenses to take care of. You can see some people explaining their struggles while even laughing. It's not that they are laughing out of joy. It's because they are laughing out of pain. And even when you see them laughing, you can hear the stress underneath it. That is the American experience right now. People are not asking for luxury. They are just asking for a breathing space. It's not just relying on one job or one income because it will not be enough. So most of the people do several jobs, and by the end of the day, they are tired. They are so exhausted. They have few hours to themselves, and more of the time they are doing work, which really affects them mentally and physically. You know, sometimes when you're in pain and you crash out, it kind of helps you to get some relief. For the housing, for sure, this is where the system really breaks people. If you rent, your price can jump at renewal, and there is nothing you can do. If you want to buy a home, prices are high and interest rates are also high. So either way, you lose. Owning a home used to be gaining stability because renting used to be temporal. But now, renting is permanent and owning feels impossible. Imagine even those who are single without even kids are also struggling. You could assume that someone who doesn't have responsibilities like children, you don't have maybe a partner. So if you're single right now, especially without roommates, you are paying a single tax and one income covers everything. Rent, utilities, food, insurance. There is no backup, no safety net. So if you're single, everything is on you. And yet being single would mean that you are better off because you don't have other people to spend your money on. And that's why so many single people are burnt out. It's not loneliness, it's financial pressure. Then the ones who have families and their parents, this one really hits hard. Daycare costs can be more than rent sometimes. So people work full-time jobs just to pay someone else to watch their kids. And you can't cut corners when kids are involved. So food, healthcare, school, those aren't optional. Yeah, and then people are talking of debts. This is another piece that people don't really talk so much about, but the debt spiral is an issue and a very serious issue. That is also costing so many Americans. Credit cards are how people survive now. Groceries, gas, emergencies, it all goes under cards. And once these interests kick in, it's like quicksand. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink. So here is why it feels different from past hard times. It's not one thing, it's everything at once that is being affected. Housing is expensive. Food is expensive. Healthcare is expensive. Transportation is expensive. And these are non-negotiable. So you see that even elderly people are still working. For example, that 75-year-old woman, she's still working just to survive. You can see the pain that she feels. At that age, we imagine that our parents should be retiring somewhere, not still struggling in this busy world and busy economy. But there she is, still working. The economy isn't easy. Things are really tough on everyone, no matter the age. So when people say, just budget better, or get a better job, or get another job, it sounds out of touch. You can't out-hustle the system, where basic survival costs this much. And mentally, that's where people start crashing. No savings, no progress, just work, bills, stress, and a repetition of the same thing, day in, day out. So this anger that you're seeing isn't just random. It's what happens when people do what they were told to do. Go to school, get a job, work hard, and the payoff never comes. So people aren't lazy, they are just tired. You notice how in these videos, these people are not flexing or asking for sympathy. They are just saying that, why is it hard to live? And that is a really fair question. So if you feel like you're crashing out in 2025, you're not broken. The cost of living is high, wages haven't kept up, and the pressure is non-stop. Drop a comment if any of these clips felt personal. And if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, and let's meet in the next video.